Now, we are going to just discuss about the how inflation keeps the middle class poor. Generally, we all have heard about the term inflation. Inflation means the losing value of money when the price of a good or any product will increase. So our money will lose its value. So that after 1 year, if inflation increase the on the certain level, then our money the money that we have kept on the cash that will loses its value. So the most of the rich people or financially literate people they used to invest that money on stock or bonds so that inflation they can beat off the inflation, otherwise it can lose again its value. So but the middle class they didn't know about this concept. So their money will lose its value, so they will be the poor. Okay, now let's discuss about this. Now, what is inflation? Generally, inflation is the rate where the general increase in the price for the good and service rise, and which generally affect our purchasing power of our money. So, while moderate inflation is normal, but excessive inflation can uh, directly impact the middle class, like the inflation in the Zimbabwe or Venezuela or the Iran. They but the elite class will get benefit as they have invested in other market also. So they are not affected, but the middle class they don't know about this, so they are badly affected. So we all have to consider this. Then purchasing that the loss of the purchasing power when the price rises faster than the income, the middle class struggle to maintain their living standard. Also, essential good become increasingly expensive, also making it difficult to afford daily necessities. We cannot afford our day-to-day necessities. Also, that essential good also become very expensive. Then that middle class generally struggle to maintain the standard of living. Also, now definition of the real income means that when the inflation outpaces the growth means that real income decline means if the income remain same numerically but the real value decrease. If the income increase by 5% but the inflation is 8%, then the person is effectively poor. Means if the income is increased by 5% and the inflation is 8%, then 3% a person become loses money. Okay, then on the inflation or the loss of the purchasing power, then generally inflation increase when daily necessities like food, fuel, electricity, rent, and education and healthcare also. So if salary does not increase at the same rate as the inflation increase, family cannot afford the good, so they have to afford the fewer good and service than before if salary didn't increase but inflation rise. Okay, then we have discussed about the real income. Now fixed salary and assist also. Now the middle class often work in the salary job where income adjustment happens slowly. Means when the income happens slowly, the wage may not match the inflation. Means when income happens slowly and if your wage does not match with inflation, especially during the economic slowdown, then the business owner may increase his price. So wealthy people can afford that price, but the normal people cannot earn. So wealthy investor may earn from their assets that rise in value. Also, then middle class has the fewer tool to protect them from a rising cost. So wealthy people they have benefit, but middle class they don't have benefit. Wealthy people used to invest on generally used to invest on assist also. Then the saving also degradation of the saving. Now erosion of the saving. If the money is kept on the saving account or the cash with a low interest rate, now inflation reduces value over time. For example, if a saving can earn 4% but the inflation is 7%, the real value of saving will decrease by 3%. And it also impact on the retirement plan also. Generally middle class family often rely on long term saving for the retirement, but high inflation generally reduce the future of purchasing power, so that their saving will be drained out. So most of the people used to invest in the market so they can beat the inflation. Then the strength of finance can reduce the future security. Also, inflation generally cannot catch up with our saving interest, so it can strain our finance or the money. Then it makes us poor. Okay. Then the rising cost of the living or the housing. Okay. Now, uh, generally, inflation often increase our property prices, also rent, also then construction costs. If the construction cost increases, then the normal person cannot make or build a house, and the property price also increases, then they cannot bear the rent. Also, middle class family may struggle to buy home due to the higher price and the increased interest rate. Also, then those with the loan can face the higher monthly payment. Also, if the interest rate rise to control the inflation, then the sixth one is a higher interest rate and the debt burden. Then the to control the inflation, central bank usually increase the interest rate, which lead to the higher home EMI, also EMI loan. Then it also increase the car loan payment, also then the expensive education loan, also then more costly credit card debt. Also, then the middle class household that rely on borrowing the direct financial pressure. Also, then the assist inflation is the best way or becoming the wealthy. Also, now we will discuss about that. Generally, we'll just discuss about higher interest rates. Then the central bank raise the interest rate to combat inflation, but the cost of the borrowing will skyrocket. Which lead to the higher monthly payment on mortgage. Mortgage means a repayment of the loan, as the person have to repay their loan. Then car loan, also credit card loan, and then which increase their financial strength. Now, how assist can save off the inflation? Generally, inflation often increase the value of assets such as real estate, stock, or commodities like gold. Also, they can make the person rich, but they have to proper knowledge. The person have to gain the proper knowledge about that thing, so that wealthy individual usually make more money on their assets, so their wealth also grow during the inflation. But the middle class, which mainly depend on the salary rather than the investment, they can benefit less, which can widen the gap between the rich and middle class. Also, then next one is education and the healthcare become more expensive. There will be the rising cost on the basic necessity like education and the healthcare. Now, education fee and healthcare cost often rise or faster than the general inflation, from which the middle class family spend their large portion of their income on these services, which causes in the rising cost. The rising cost can reduce the quality of the life. Also, it can increase the financial stress also, and force family to be on debt. Now, tuition fee are climbing faster than the inflation rate. Healthcare expenses continue to burden the middle class family heavily. Also, then it increasing in the student loan debt add to the financial stress. Also, student have to keep the debt, so to keep their education running, so that it also add the financial burden to the student also. Now, how psychologically it affect the our life. Generally, inflation helps to create insecurity. It create us the insecurity also, and may person feel overwhelmed or is stressed also, which will lead to the weak saving habit and sense of hopelessness. Generally, person used to become hopelessness, yeah, because of inflation. And even among those who person who work diligently to make the end means that the hardworking person also can be affected badly. So how the tax bracket affect in some case, now inflation push salary into the higher tax bracket if the real income is not increased significantly, but the tax can uh, But the higher tax without any actual improvement in purchasing power means when your real income does not increase, but income with certain inflation with increase, which shows you about the higher income person, then there will be the more tax on your income also. Now, why middle class are affected by this? Generally. mm, Generally, they are squeezed between the poor who may receive the government subsidiary and the wealthy who found appreciating asset. Means middle class are between the person who may receive the government security. They neither receive the government security also. Then nor own the appreciating asset which can increase its value. So they are typically for paying the full tax also. Then they also receive the limited subsidiary, and they may depend on their fixed income to fulfill their daily basic necessity. So this make them practically vulnerable to inflation. Then at last we are here. Generally, inflation usually reduce our purchasing power. It regard our saving. It increase our debt burden also. Then rising cost of essential service, while the wealthy can protect themselves through the assist ownership and the business, and the poor may receive the targeted support, and the middle class often bear the greatest burden also. If wage does not keep pace with the rising prices, inflation can gradually weak the financial stability and make it harder for middle class family to build the wealth and to maintain their standard of living. Now, hope all of you got it my point, and I am making this video so you can easily understood about the inflation. And if you have any feedback, then try to comment on our comment section, and I will try you to reach soon out as possible. Okay, have a great day.